So my name is Jay Roberts. I am the Associate Professor of Education and Environmental Studies here at Earlham. I've been here since 2000, so this is my 10th year. And my membership is in the First Friends meeting here in town in Richmond, and my yearly membership is with Indiana Yearly Meeting. And I came here in 2000 from Charlottesville, Virginia, where I was a attender of Charlottesville Friends meeting. And it was really that meeting back in about 1996 that I became a convinced friend. And that began a journey for me that brought me to apply to the job at Earlham back in 2000. And I did so particularly because of Earlham's Quaker affiliation and Quaker characteristics. And it's been a real joy to be here for the last 10 years and live out those Quaker values, both in my work and in my personal life as well. Earlham is the kind of place where it's hard to separate out what we do for work and who we are as people. I think they're directly connected in so many ways. Parker Palmer talks about letting your life speak, and I see my role here at Earlham as to demonstrate out that principle in as many facets of my life and my work as I can. So Earlham's Quaker principles and practices are things that, for me personally, I take very seriously. And I try to, kind of in the classic model, rather than being a sage on the stage, which is talked about a lot in education speak, right? We don't want teachers to be sages on the stage. We want them more to be guides on the side. But I think there's actually a third way there. It's not being a sage on the stage or a guide on the side. It's being a model in the middle. And so much of that, I think, comes from the Quaker notions of letting your life speak and of demonstrating the values in your everyday life that you hold dear. And so Earlham's the kind of place where we have high aspirations for those values of things like simplicity and equality, community, integrity. And we often get reminded both by students and by our various community members that we're not matching up those values and those behaviors as much as we would like. And that's why I'm always keen to sort of remind myself that they're aspirations. They're things that are infinite games, things we will play and work on forevermore, sustainability being one that's particularly important to me. And we'll never end that process. It's a process that will go on as long as I'm here on this earth, as long as Quakers are practicing out their faith, and as long as human beings are living on this planet. We'll be working on the various values that we wish to live out to make a more perfect union, so to speak, to use a phrase from Lincoln. So Earlham's Quakerism for me is really about those everyday interactions as much as anything else. I never was very much interested in being a part of a church community that just sort of you showed up on Sunday in your finest dress and went through the rituals and called it good. I was much more interested in a sense of spirituality that was everyday, that was intimate, deeply personal, experiential, but also connected to deeper senses of social justice and making the world a better place. And my first meeting that I attended, which was Germantown Friends meeting in Philadelphia, was an eye-opener for me of that moment where I really realized what George Fox was saying when he said to know God experimentally, because there was really nothing in the way, right? It was your personal relationship with God with no intermediary, but also in a community of faith where you were worshiping with others, like-minded others. And I think that that sense of what I saw as a seed of an idea, that sort of to know God experimentally, has really continued to resonate with me today in living out that faith. And I'm really glad that Earlham is the place that it is and that I get the great blessing to work here.